All right. We're back with another morning Bible study. And also, I put a new link to the Google map for the Utah treasure hunt. That one should work. I made it public. Hopefully it doesn't like track me and show you where I am. What up, Chuck Danger? We got the top fan badges now, and I got the goal option. I can finally do the goal thing. I don't know what's different, but I can do goals now. Pick a goal, choose the super chat colors that count, set a timer, share how you'll celebrate. I'll do a dance. Okay, we're not going to do that in this stream. The Bible study stream is not the grift stream. Hola, C-Sal. Long time no see, Sal. Why aren't you a mod anymore? What happened? Did you unmod yourself? Or you made a new account? I gotta take these bookmarks out of my Bible. Got a bunch of posties from that debate sticking in my Bible. Pink posties. Oh, it's your other account. Okay. How's life been? What happened to your YouTube channel? You've been slacking, Seesaw. You gotta be consistent. Women never want to commit. Just kidding. Hold on, I'm taking all these sticky notes out of my Bible. From a debate I did. I don't need them in here anymore. It's trash. Okay. You've been slacking. Slacking on your macking. All right. So we're on Chronicles, First Chronicles. We got one more chapter of crazy names and begats. And then we'll be done with all that. We're going to start re-going through the story of David and other stories throughout, you know, from Samuel up until Kings. We're going to reiterate a lot of that stuff. But we got one more chapter of begats. Last time we did 8 chapters straight of the craziest names ever. So far, it's been the longest stretch of begats. First Chronicles. First Chronicles chapter 1 through chapter 9 is rough. But we did 8 chapters in one stream last time. I just read, pretty much. Somebody's like, you going to give commentary on what this is about? I'm like, dude, all it is so-and-so begat so-and-so, so-and-so begat so-and-so, and so-and-so son begat so-and-so son, and so-and-so begat so-and-so son. Like, what do you want me to expand on this? You want to research every person? We're not going to find information on a lot of them. Yeah, not Chronicles. Yeah, a million names in Chronicles. But luckily, we only got one more chapter of that. And then we're going to go through David again. So I'm just going to get through chapter 9 real quick. And then it should get a little more interesting again. But the first 9 chapters of Chronicles is rough. All right, chapter 9. So all Israel were reckoned by genealogies. And behold, they were written in the book of the kings of Israel and Judah, who were carried away to Babylon for their transgression. Now the first inhabitants that dwelt in their possessions in their cities were the Israelites, the priests, Levites, and the Nethinims. not Nephilims, Nethinims. And in Jerusalem dwelt the children of Judah, and of the children of Benjamin, and of the children of Ephraim, and Manasseh. Uthai, the son of Ammihud, the son of Omri, the son of Imri, the son of Bani, of the children of Pharez, the son of Judah, and of the Shilonites, Asaiah, the firstborn, and his sons, and the sons of Zerah, Jeuel, and their brethren, 690. And of the sons of Benjamin, Salu, the son of Mesulam, the son of Hodaviah, the son of Hasanua, and Ibneiah, the son of Jeroham, and Elah, the son of Uzi, the son of Mikri, the son of Mushulam, the son of Shephathiah, the son of Reuel, the son of Ibnijah, and their brethren according to their generations 956. All these men were chief of the fathers of the house of their fathers. And of the priests, Jedediah and Jehoiarib and Jachin and Azariah, the son of Hilkiah, the son of Meshulam, the son of Zadok, the son of Miraioth, the son of Ahitub, the ruler of the house of God, uppercase. And Adiah, the son of Jeroham, the son of Pashur, the son of Malchijah, and Maasei, the son of Adiel, the son of Jazerah, the son of Meshulam, the son of Meshelemith, the son of Emer, and their brethren, heads of the house of their fathers, 1,760, very able men. Holy cow, this is a long chapter. For the work of the service of the house of God, and of the Levites, Shemaiah, the son of Hashub, the son of Azikam, the son of Hashabiah, the son of Merari, and Bakbakkar, Horesh, and Galal, and Mattaniah, the son of Micah, the son of Zikri, the son of Asaph, and Obadiah, the son of Shemaiah, the son of Galal, the son of Jeduthun, and Berechiah, the son of Asa, the son of Elkanah, that dwelt in the village of the Netophathites. And the porters were Shallum and Akub and Talmon and Ahiman, and their brethren. Shallum was the chief, who hitherto waited in the king's gate eastward. They were porters in the companies of the children of Levi. And Shallum, the son of Kor, the son of Ebiasaph, the son of Korah, and his brethren of the house of his father, the Korathites, were over the work of the service, keepers of the gates of the tabernacle, and their fathers, being over the host of the Lord, were keepers of the entry. And Phinehas, the son of Eleazar, was the ruler over them in time past, and the Lord was with him. The Lord was with him when he threw that spear through those people. That's right. And Zechariah, the son of Meshelemiah, was porter of the door of the tabernacle of the congregation. All these which were chosen to be porters in the gates were 212. These were reckoned by their genealogy in their villages, whom David and Samuel the seer did ordain in their set office. So they and their children had the oversight of the gates of the house of the Lord, namely the house of the tabernacle, by wards. In 4 quarters were the porters toward the east, west, north, and south. And their brethren which were in the villages were to come after 7 days from time to time with them. For these Levites, the 4 chief porters, were in their set office, and were over the chambers and treasuries of the house of God. And they lodged round about the house of God, because the charge was upon them, and the opening thereof every morning pertained to them. And certain of them had the charge of the ministering vessels, that they should bring them in and out by tale. Some of them also were appointed to oversee the vessels and all the instruments of the sanctuary, and the fine flour, and the wine, and the oil, and the frankincense, and the spices. And some of the sons of priests made the ointment of the spices. And Mattithiah, one of the Levites, who was the firstborn of Shallum the Korathite, had the set office over the things that were made in the pans. And other of their brethren of the sons of the Korathites were over the showbread to prepare every Sabbath. And these are the singers, chief of the fathers of the Levites, who remaining in the chambers were free, for they were employed in that work day and night. Remaining in the chambers were free, for they were employed in that work day and night. So they weren't free, they had to work day and night. But these chief fathers of the Levites were chief throughout their generations. These dwelt at Jerusalem. And in Gibeon dwelt the father of Gibeon, Jehiel, whose wife's name was Maachah, and her firstborn son Adon, then Zur, and Kish, and Baal, and Ner, and Nabad, and Gedor, and Ahio, and Zechariah, and Mikloth. And Mikloth begat Shimeam, and they also dwelt with their brethren at Jerusalem over against their brethren. And Ner begat Kish, and Kish begat Saul, and Saul begat Jonathan, and Malchishua, and Abinadab, and Eshbaal, and the son of Jonathan was Meribbaal, and Meribbaal begat Micah. And the sons of Micah were Pithon, and Melech, and Tariah, and Ahaz. And Ahaz begat Jarah, and Jarah begat Alemeth, and Asmaveth, and Zimri begat Moza, and Moza begat Biniah, and Rephaiah his son, Elasah his son, Azel his son, and Azel his 6 sons, whose names are these: Azrikam, Bosharu, and Ishmael, and Sheariah, and Obadiah, and Hanan. These were the sons of Azel. We're done. Hallelujah. We're done with the begats. Now we're going to go back through the story of David, picking up where Saul is dead. Saul, he gone. Ain't no sense praying for him no more. He gone. So we're going to pick up with David, I think. No, we get a little bit of Saul. Death of Saul and his sons. Yeah. Actually, we're going to start with Saul, but we're going to do this a little faster than, 1st and 2nd Samuel. It's a more condensed version of the story. So, chapter 10, the death of Saul and his sons. Now the Philistines fought against Israel, and the men of Israel fled from before the Philistines, and fell down slain in Mount Gilboa. And the Philistines followed hard after Saul and after his sons, and the Philistines slew Jonathan and Abinadab and Malchishua, the sons of Saul. And the battle went sore against Saul, and the archers hit him, and he was wounded of the archers. Then said Saul to his armor-bearer, Draw thy sword, and thrust me through therewith, lest these uncircumcised come and abuse me. But his armor-bearer would not, for he was sore afraid. So Saul took a sword and fell upon it. So, if you remember when we read about the story of Saul dying in 1 Samuel, I believe, it tells this story, but then I believe it's Samuel or David talks to, it might have still been Solomon, talks to the guy that shot the arrow, or no, wait. A stranger finds Saul's body, and he brings it, and he says he killed Saul because he's expecting a reward. And then they kill him. But it gives 2 stories of Saul's death. And it's like, which one of these is true? Well, the original story is reiterated right here. Let's see if they reiterate the story of the guy who lied. But Saul killed himself. And when his armor-bearer saw that Saul was dead, he fell likewise on the sword and died. So Saul died, and his 3 sons and all his house died together. And when all the men of Israel that were in the valley saw that, they fled, and that Saul and his sons were dead. Then they forsook their cities and fled, and the Philistines came and dwelt in them. And it came to pass on the morrow, when the Philistines came to strip the slain, that they found Saul and his sons fallen in Mount Gilboa. And when they had stripped him, they took his head and his armor, and sent into the land of the Philistines round about to carry tidings unto their idols and to the people. And they put his armor in the house of their gods, and fastened his head in the temple of Dagon. And when all Jabesh Gilead heard all that the Philistines had done to Saul, they arose, all the valiant men, and took away the body of Saul and the bodies of his sons, and brought them to Jabesh, and buried their bones under the oak in Jabesh, and fasted 7 days. So Saul died for his transgressions which he committed against the Lord, even against the word of the Lord, which he kept not, and also for asking counsel of one that had a familiar spirit to inquire of it, and inquire not of the Lord. Therefore he slew him, and turned the kingdom unto David, the son of Jesse. Now David's in power. And then when he inquired of familiar spirits, that's when he found he wanted to talk to Samuel, and Samuel was dead. So he went into the woods and he found the old witch lady, and she summoned Samuel, allegedly. I say allegedly because we don't know if it was maybe just a demon pretending to be Samuel. It seems more like that, but maybe I'm wrong. All right. Hold on, I want to highlight this real quick because it's important that it reiterates the story here. In case anybody ever wonders why it has two different narratives for Saul's death in First or Second Samuel, First Samuel. It's reiterated here in Chronicles. All right. Chapter 11. Then all Israel gathered themselves to David unto Hebron, saying, Behold, we are thy bone and thy flesh. And moreover, in time past, even when Saul was king, thou wast he that leddest out and broughtest in Israel. And the Lord thy God said unto thee, Thou shalt feed my people Israel, and thou shalt be ruler over my people Israel. Therefore came all the elders of Israel to the king to Hebron, and David made a covenant with them in Hebron before the Lord. And they anointed David king over Israel, according to the word of the Lord by Samuel. And David and all Israel went to Jerusalem, which is Jebus, where the Jebusites were, and the inhabitants of the land. And the inhabitants of Jebus said to David, Thou shalt not come hither. Nevertheless, David took the castle of Zion, which is the city of David. And David said, Whosoever smiteth the Jebusites first shall be chief and captain. So Joab, the son of Zeruiah, went first up and was chief. And David dwelt in the castle, therefore they called it the city of David. And he built the city round about, even from Milo round about, and Joab repaired the rest of the city. So David waxed greater and greater, for the Lord of hosts was with him. David waxed greater and greater, for the Lord of hosts was with him. Facts. There also are the chief of the mighty men whom David had, who strengthened themselves with him in the kingdom and with all Israel to make him king according to the word of the Lord concerning Israel. And this is the number of the mighty men whom David had. Jeshobeam, Anhakmonite, the chief of the captains, he lifted up his spear against 300 slain by him at one time. And after him was Eleazar, the son of Dodo, the Ahohite, who was one of the three mighties. He was with David at Pasdamim, and there the Philistines were gathered together to battle, where was a parcel of ground full of barley, and the people fled from before the Philistines. And they set themselves in the midst of that parcel and delivered it, and slew the Philistines, and the Lord saved them by a great deliverance. Now 3 of the 30 captains went down to the rock to David into the cave of Adullam, and the host of the Philistines encamped in the valley of Rephaim. And David was then in the hold, and the Philistines' garrison was then at Bethlehem. And David longed and said, "Oh, that one would give me drink of water of the well of Bethlehem, that is at the gate." And the three brake through the host of the Philistines and drew water out of the well of Bethlehem that was by the gate, and took it and brought it to David. But David would not drink of it, but poured it out to the Lord, and said, "My God forbid it me, that I should do this thing. Shall I drink the blood of these men that have put their lives in jeopardy? For with the jeopardy of their lives they brought it." Therefore he would not drink it. These things did these three mightiest. And Abishai, the brother of Joab, he was chief of the three for lifting up his spear against 300. He slew them and had a name among the three. Of the three, he was more honorable than the two, for he was their captain. Howbeit, he attained not from the first three. Benaiah, of the three, he was more honorable than the two, for he was their captain. Howbeit, he attained not to the first three. Benaiah, the son of Jehoiada, the son of the valiant man of Kabzeel, who had done many acts, he slew 2 lion-like men of Moab. Also he went down and slew a lion in a pit in a snowy day. And he slew an Egyptian, a man of great stature, 5 cubits high. So not as tall as Goliath, but pretty tall. God bless you. Keep going. Even if no one is watching, for God watch you. Hey, thank you, sir. I smite thee. Not call him George. I smite Matthew. 5 cubits high. So what's a cubit? Elbow to fingertip. Goliath was 8 feet 8 inches. He was, how tall is 5 cubits? It's like 15 feet. So there were giants in Egypt. There were giants in Egypt. How tall is 5 cubits? It's gonna be like 7.5 feet. So it's not as tall as Goliath. See, they're getting smaller. This is why I tried to explain to what's his name? Bricky. Benaiah, the son of Jehoiada, the son of the valiant man of Kabzeel, who had done many acts, he slew 2 lion-like men of Moab. Oh, I already read this. Okay. Wait, he slew an Egyptian, a man of great stature, 5 cubits high. And in the Egyptian hand was a spear like a weaver's beam. So this is where people think that this is another reference to David saying that somebody else killed Goliath. But this is not talking about Goliath. Goliath had brothers. There were other giant men. And one of the problems people have is this word Benaiah. If you're textually critical, you could say Benaiah actually meant something different. I forgot. We'd have to go over it again. Benaiah could be a place. It means bread, loaf of bread. When they say it's an odd name to be in the Old Testament, but there's a lot of old names in the Old Testament. But it mentions a spear like a weaver's beam. But this giant is only 5 cubits high. Goliath was 6 cubits high. These things did Benaiah the son of Jehoiada, and had the name among the 3 mighties. Behold, he was honorable among the 30, but attained not to the first 3. And David set him over his guard. See, it obviously differentiates David from Benaiah. Also, the valiant men of the armies were Asahel, brother of Joab, Elhanan, the son of Dodo of Bethlehem, Shemoth, the Harodite, Helez, the Pelonite, Ira, the son of Ikesh, the Tekoite, and Abiezer, the Antothite. Sibbecai, the Hushathite, Eli, the Ahohite, Merari, the Netophathite, Heled, the son of Banah, the Netophathite, Ithai, the son of Ribai of Gibeah, that pertained to the children of Benjamin, Benaiah, the Parathonite, Hurai of the brooks of Gash, Abiel, the Arbathite, Asmaveth, the Baharumite, Eliabah, the Shalbonite, the sons of Hashem, the Gizonite, Jonathan, the son of Shag, the Hararite, Ahiam, the son of Sakar, the Hararite, Eliphal, the son of Ur, Hefer, the Mecharathite, Ahijah, the Pelonite, Hezro, the Carmelite, Naarai, the son of Ezbai, Joel, the brother of Nathan, Mibhar, the son of Hagari, Zelek, the Ammonite, Naharai, the Berathite, the armor bearer of Joab, the son of Zeruiah, Ira, the Ithrite, Gareb, the Ithrite, Uriah, the Hittite, Zabab, the son of Ali, Abinah, the son of Shiza, the Reubenite, a captain of the Reubenites, and 30 with him, Hanan, the son of Makkah, and Josaphat, the Mithnite, Uzziah, the Ashtarathite, Shammah and Jethiel, the sons of Hothon, the Arorite, Jediel, the son of Shimri, and Joha, his brother, the Tizite, Eliel, the Mahavite, and Jerubai and Josephiah, the sons of Elnaam, and Ithma, the Moabite, Eliel and Obed, and Jasiel, and Mesobaite, the Mesobaite. So there's more begats. Oh man, Chronicles is so rough. Oh man. Every chapter is like this. So it goes through the story, it sums it up real quick, and then it tells you the names of everybody involved. This is how serious they were about record keeping back then. This is why they didn't like intertribe relations, because it made keeping records really hard, and they liked keeping a lot of records. You figure out a written language, you want to use it, right? Chronicles is going to be rough. I think it's like 35 chapters. Oh man, it's going to be rough. It's going to be a long trudge getting through Chronicles, ladies and gentlemen. Let's keep it going though. Chapter 12. Now these are they that came to David to Ziklag while he yet kept himself close because of Saul the son of Kish, and they were among the mighty men, helpers of the war. They were armed with bows and could use both the right hand and the left in hurling stones and shooting arrows out of the bow. Even of Saul's brethren of Benjamin. The chief was Ahiezer, then Joash, the sons of Shemaah, the Gibeathite, and Jeziel and Petet, the sons of Asmaveth, and Barakah, and Jehu, the Anthothite, and Ishmaiah, the Gibeonite, a mighty man among 30 and over the 30, and Jeremiah, and Jahaziel, and Johanan, and Josabad, the Gederathite, Eluzai, and Jerimoth, and Bealiah, and Shemariah, and Shephatiah, and the Haruphite, Elkanah, and Jesiah, and Azariel, and Joezer, and Jashobeam, the Korathites, and Jola, and Zedebiah, the sons of Jeroham of Gedor, and of the Gadites. There separated themselves unto David into the hold of the wilderness men of might and men of war, fit for the battle, that could handle shield and buckler, whose faces were like the faces of lions, and were as swift as the ropes upon the mountain rows upon the mountains. Ezer the first, Obadiah the second, Eliab the third, Mismanah the fourth, Jeremiah the fifth, Attai the sixth, Eliel the seventh, Johanan the eighth, Elzabad the ninth, Jeremiah the 10th, Machbaniah the 11th. These were the sons of Gad, captains of the host. One of the least was over 100, and the greatest over 1,000. These are they that went over Jordan in the first month, when it had overflown all his banks. And they put to flight all them of the valleys, both toward the east and toward the west. And there came of the children of Benjamin and Judah to the hold unto David. And David went out to meet them, and answered and said unto them, If ye be come peaceably unto me to help me, mine heart shall be knit unto you. But if ye become to betray me to mine enemies, seeing there is no wrong in mine hands, the God of our fathers look thereon and rebuke it. Then the Spirit came upon Amasai, who was chief of the captains, and he said, Thine are we, David, and on thy side. Thou son Jesse, peace be unto thee, and peace be unto thine helpers, for thy God helpeth thee. Then David received them and made them captains of the band. And there fell some of Manasseh to David when he came with the Philistines against Saul to battle, but they helped them not, for the lords of the Philistines, upon advisement, sent him away, saying, He will fall to his master, Saul, to the jeopardy of our heads. Smash that like button. So as he went to Ziklag, there fell to him of Manasseh Adnah and Jozabad, and Jediael, and Michael, and Jozabad, and Elihu, and Ziltai, captains of the thousands that were of Manasseh. And they helped David against the bands of the rovers, for they were all mighty men of valor, and were captains in the host. For at that time, day by day, there came to David to help him, until it was a great host like the host of God. And these are the numbers of the bands that were ready armed to the war. And came David to Hebron to turn the kingdom of Saul to him, according to the word of the Lord. The children of Judah that bare shield and spear were 6,800, ready armed to the war. Of the children of Simeon, mighty men of valor for the war, 7,100. Of the children of Levi, 4,600. And Jehoiada was the leader of the Aaronites, and with him were 3,700. And Zadok, a young man mighty of valor, and of his father's house, 22 captains. And of the children of Benjamin, the kindred of Saul, 3,000. For hitherto the greatest part of them had kept the ward of the house of Saul. And of the children of Ephraim, 20,800, mighty men of valor, famous throughout the house of their fathers. And of the half tribe of Manasseh, 18,000, which were expressed by name, to come and make David king. Please don't list all 18,000 names. And of the children of Issachar, which were men that had understanding of the times, to know what Israel ought to do, the heads of them were 200, and all their brethren were at their commandment. Of Zebulun, such as went forth to battle, expert in war, with all instruments of war, 50,000, which could keep rank. They were not of double heart. And of Naphtali, 1,000 captains, and with them, with shield and spear, 37,000. And of the Danites, expert in war, 28,600. And of Asher, such as went forth to battle, expert in war, 40,000. And on the other side of Jordan, of the Reubenites and the Gadites, and of the half tribe of Manasseh, with all manners of instruments of war for the battle, 120,000. All these men of war that could keep rank came with a perfect heart to Hebron to make David king over all Israel. And all the rest also of Israel were of one heart to make David king. And there they were with David 3 days, eating and drinking, for their brethren had prepared for them. Moreover, they that were nigh them, even unto Issachar and Zebulun and Naphtali, brought bread on asses and on camels and on mules and on oxen, and meat, meal, cakes of figs, and bunches of raisins, and wine and oil and oxen and sheep abundantly. For there was joy in Israel. There was joy in Israel when David was the king. Look at that. Shocker. It's what happens when righteous men are in positions of power. Chapter 13 is a short one. Hallelujah. And David consulted with the captains of thousands and hundreds, and with every leader. And David said unto all the congregation of Israel, if it seem good unto you, and that it be of the Lord our God, let us send abroad unto our brethren everywhere that are left in all the land of Israel, and with them also to the priests and Levites, which are in their cities and suburbs, that they may gather themselves unto us. And let us bring again the ark of our God to us, for we inquired not at it in the days of Saul. And all the congregation said that they would do so, for the thing was right in the eyes of all the people. So David gathered all Israel together, from Shihor of Egypt, even unto the entering of Hamath, to bring the ark of God from Kirjath Jearim. And David went up, and all Israel, to Baalah, which is to Kirjath Jearim, which belonged to Judah, to bring up thence the ark of God, the Lord, that dwelleth between the cherubims, whose name is called on it. And they carried the ark of God in a new cart out of the house of Abinadab, and Uzzah and Ahio drave the cart. Oh, this is when Uzzah is going to die. This is the second. Well, it mentions it earlier, but I think it goes a little more in depth here. And David and all Israel played before God with all their might, and with singing, and with harps, and with psalteries, and with timbrels, and with cymbals, and with trumpets. And when they came unto the threshing floor of Chidon, Uzzah put forth his hand to hold the ark, for the oxen stumbled. And the anger of the Lord was kindled against Uzzah, and he smote him because he put his hand to the ark, and there he died before God. And David was displeased because the Lord had made a breach upon Uzzah. Wherefore that place is called Perez Uzzah to this day. And David was afraid of God that day, saying, how shall I bring the ark of God home to me? So David brought not the ark home to himself to the city of David, but carried it aside into the house of Obed-Edom the Gittite. And the ark of God remained with the family of Obed-Edom in his house 3 months. And the Lord blessed the house of Obed-Edom all that he had. So that story of Uzzah, you might think see, even David was displeased with God for doing that. And it made David afraid of God. The story is with Uzzah. So the Ark of the Covenant had been lost to Judah for the whole time that Saul, even before Saul, they had lost the Ark of the Covenant. But it was kept protected in Uzzah's house since the time he was a boy. He grew up with the Ark in his house. But the Ark, which represents God, is supposed to be cherished. It's supposed to be kept on high. It's not supposed to be something. God is not like, I know a lot of like the soft Christians and the poetry with like the 2 footprints in the sand. Now there's 1 footprint on the sand because he was carrying me, and all this soft lovey-dovey stuff. But in reality, we're supposed to honor God. He's not our best buddy. He's not, we're not sitting having conversations with him. We're not giving him a high five. We revere, we have reverence, a healthy fear of God. We revere him. But since Uzzah lived in a time when the Ark of the Covenant, or God, was not revered the way it should be, he just has the Ark of the Covenant sitting in his living room. Now, he revered the Ark. He understood the importance of the Ark, but he became comfortable with the Ark. He grew up around it. He played around it. It just chilled in the living room. And so when it was time for him to help move the Ark out of his house, he sees it falling over. And instead of having faith that the Ark's going to be fine. It's going to be fine. You let it fall. You don't touch the Ark. But instead, he was so careless and he'd become so comfortable living with it that he didn't have reverence for it anymore. So when it started to fall, he reached out his hands to stabilize it. He had good intentions, but he had lost the reverence that he had. He thought he was on the same level of God because God had been so close to him for so long that he forgot the reverence. And I think that's an important message. You can't forget to revere God. You can't get too comfortable with God in your life because God's not your homeboy, you know? You get too comfortable with him, you forget reverence, and that's when you blaspheme, which is essentially what Uzzah did. He blasphemed by touching the ark because he's not supposed to do that. So he got smoted. He got smited for it. Now, look, somebody's going to be like, why are you doing interpretation? Shut up. Okay, chapter 14. Now Hiram, king of Tyre, sent messengers to David, and timber of cedars, and masons and carpenters to build him an house. That's redundant that they put masons and carpenters. They're both the same. They're both tectons. I don't know why they didn't just leave the word carpenter. They delineated it. And David perceived that the Lord had confirmed him king over Israel, for his kingdom was lifted up on high because of his people Israel. And David took more wives at Jerusalem, and David begat more sons and daughters. Now these are the names of his children, which he had in Jerusalem: Shammua, and Shobab, Nathan, and Solomon, and Ibhar, and Elishua, and Elpatet, and Nogah, and Nepheg, and Japhiah, and Elishama, and Beeliadah, and Eliphalet. And when the Philistines heard that David was anointed king over all Israel, all the Philistines went up to seek David, and David heard of it and went out against them. And the Philistines came and spread themselves in the valley of Rephaim. And David inquired of God, saying, shall I go up against the Philistines, and wilt thou deliver them into mine hand? And the Lord said unto him, go up, for I will deliver them into thine hand. So they came up to Baal Perazim, and David smote them there. Then David said, God hath broken in upon mine enemies by mine hand, like the breaking forth of waters. Therefore they called the name of that place Baal Perazim. And when they had left their gods there, David gave a commandment, and they were burned with fire. And the Philistines yet again spread themselves abroad in the valley. See, that story is told in 1 Samuel, but it's told it's much longer when you read it in 1 Samuel. It's just like summarizing everything from the story of David here. We're going to finish chapter 14 and read chapter 15, and then we'll be done. Short one today. Trying to get through it quick. I'm tired. But it'll be six chapters, so I'm trying to get back on track. And when they had left their gods there, David gave a commandment, and they were burned with fire. And the Philistines yet again spread themselves abroad in the valley. Therefore David inquired again of God, and God said unto him, go not up after them, turn away from them, and come upon them over against the mulberry trees. So God's given like strategic battle plans to David. He's like, this time, don't hit them head on. Sneak around that way and flank them by the mulberry trees over there. And David's like, all right. And it shall be, when thou shalt hear a sound of going in the tops of the mulberry trees, that then thou shalt go out to battle. For God is gone forth before thee to smite the host of the Philistines. David therefore did as God commanded him, and they smote the host of the Philistines from Gibeon even to Gazer. And the fame of David went out into all lands, and the Lord brought the fear of him upon all nations. The Lord brought the fear of him unto all nations, upon all nations. Look at that. All right. Any questions so far? We're about to do the last chapter, chapter 15. David's about to get the ark back. Well, he already brought it, but now he's going to put it in a place. Let's do this. chapter 15. And David made him houses in the city of David and prepared a place for the ark of God and pitched for it a tent. Then David said, "None ought to carry the ark of God but the Levites, for them hath the Lord chosen to carry the ark of God and to minister unto him forever." And David gathered all Israel together to Jerusalem to bring up the ark of the Lord unto his place, which he had prepared for it. And David assembled the children of Aaron and the Levites. Of the sons of Kohath, Uriel the chief and his brethren 120. Of the sons of Merari, Asai the chief and his brethren 220. Of the sons of Gershom, Joel the chief and his brethren 130. Of the sons of Eliaphan, Shemaiah the chief and his brethren 200. Of the sons of Hebron, Eliel the chief and his brethren 80. Of the sons of Uzziel, Aminadab the chief and his brethren 112. And David called for Zadok and Abiathar the priests, and for the Levites, for Uriel, Asaiah, and Joel, Shemaiah, and Eliel, and Aminadab, and said unto them, Ye are the chief of the fathers of the Levites. Sanctify yourselves, both ye and your brethren, that ye may bring up the ark of the Lord God of Israel unto the place that I have prepared for it. For because ye did it not at first, the Lord our God made a breach upon us, for that we sought him not after the due order. So the priests and the Levites sanctified themselves to bring up the ark of the Lord God of Israel, and the children of the Levites bare the ark of God upon their shoulders with the staves thereon, as Moses commanded, according to the word of the Lord. And David spake to the chief of the Levites to appoint their brethren to be the singers with instruments of music, psalteries, and harps, and cymbals sounding, by lifting up the voice with joy. This is why sometimes I wonder, I know I don't really like the singy songy stuff in the a lot of these feminized Protestant churches, but I do see a lot of things in the Bible about sing praises, sing worship, playing instruments, music. David was a musician and a poet. Like nowadays, when we think of artsy fartsy people, we think of liberals. We think of feminine men and liberals. But back in biblical times, artsy men, it was a masculine thing. I'm trying to bring that back because I'm an artsy guy, you know? I'm strong, I'm big, but I'm not great at sports. I was never really good at any sports. I can fight, but as far as sports, I sucked at sports. I was not a super athletic guy. I lift and I can run fast. I could be like a good tight end or something in football, but that's about it. But what am I getting at? Oh, the artsy thing. I'm an artsy guy, and that's not cool anymore. If you're artsy, people think you're a liberal. But in the Bible, great men were artsy guys, architects, sculptors, musicians, poets. It used to be masculine and cool to be artsy. It's not anymore. We got to bring that back. So the Levites appointed Heman, the Levites appointed Heman, the son of Joel, and of his brethren, Asaph, the son of Berechiah, and of the sons of Merari, Ethan, the son of Cushaiah. And with them their brethren of the second degree, Zechariah, Ben, just Ben, Ben, shout out Ben, and Jaaziel, and Shemiramoth, and Jehiel, and Uni, and Eliab, and Benaniah, and Masaiah, and Mattathiah, and Elipheleh, and Michananiah, and Obededom, and Jeiel, the porters. Remember what I said last time? I said it's crazy how like all the brothers, the whole family will have crazy names, and then there will be like one Ben, or one like Joe, or like one Jonathan, like super common names. So you got You got Jaziel, Shemiramoth, Jehiel, Uni, Eliab, Benaniah, Maaseiah, Mattathiah, Elipeleth, Mikneiah, Obed-Edom, Jeiel, and Ben. Just Ben. Like, what the? So the singers, Heman, Asaph, and Ethan, were appointed to sound with cymbals of brass. And Zechariah, Aziel, and Shemiramoth, and Jehiel, and Uni, and Eliab, and Maaseiah, and Benaniah, with psalteries on Alamoth. And Mattathiah, and Elipheleth, and Mikneiah, and Obed-Edom, and Jeiel, and Azaziah with harps on the Sheminith to excel. And Chenaniah, chief of the Levites, was for song. He instructed about the song because he was skillful. And Berechiah and Elkanah were doorkeepers for the ark. And Shebaniah and Jehoshaphat and Nathaniel and Amasiah and Zechariah and Benaniah and Eleazar, the priests, did blow with the trumpets before the ark of God. And Obed-Edom and Jehiah were doorkeepers for the ark. Jehiah were doorkeepers for the ark. So David and the elders of Israel and the captains over thousands went to bring up the ark of the covenant of the Lord out of the house of Obed-Edom with joy. And it came to pass, when God helped the Levites that bear the ark of the covenant of the Lord, that they offered 7 bullocks and 7 rams. And David was clothed with a robe of fine linen, and all the Levites that bear the ark, and the singers, and Chenaniah, the master of the song, with the singers. David also had upon him an ephod of linen, an ephod of linen. Thus all Israel brought up the ark of the covenant of the Lord with shouting and with sound of the cornet, and with trumpets and with cymbals, making a noise with psalteries and harps. And it came to pass, as the ark of the covenant of the Lord came to the city of David, that Michal, the daughter of Saul, looking out at a window, saw King David dancing and playing, and she despised him in her heart. That's his first wife. That's Saul's daughter that he gave to David. And she hates him. She hates him. She's this is before he finds Bathsheba. Unfortunate series of events, but it led to Solomon, right? I think Solomon came from Bathsheba. It was their second son. Their first son died. Well, God ended that because it was a punishment to David. But, all right. We're on Chronicles 16. First Chronicles is 30 chapters. 29 chapters. Second Chronicles is like 35 chapters. And some of these are long chapters, some of them are shorter. But lots of names. Lots and lots and lots of names in Chronicles. I know it's a tough book to get through. I know people are like, you're not really doing a Bible study, Josh. You're just reading. Yes, that's what we're doing here. We're just reading the whole Bible. But thank you guys for hanging out. I'm gonna head out. Try to get some sleep early so we can do some more Black Myth Wukong tonight. I beat Erlang. So we have one boss fight left in the whole game. But before we do that, we're going to do a bunch of side stuff, collection stuff. Anything I missed throughout the game, I got to go back and collect all the little curios and buy all the different armor pieces and upgrade armor and just level up and get all the spirits, all that stuff. We have a whole lot of extra stuff before we whoop the main boss. Not a preacher, not a teacher, just a reader. So that's what we're going to do tonight. You're here late, Shiva, but you didn't miss anything. It's Chronicles. Wait till you get to If you're reading the Bible from beginning to end, wait till you get to Chronicles. You're going to love it. Chronicles is the worst. As far as begats go, and names and names and names and names and names, and then a place, and then a name and a name and a name and a name and a name, and then a place. So just proper nouns in foreign languages, ancient foreign languages, for like 60 chapters, first and second Chronicles. There's a little bit of narratives and stories thrown in there, but it's all just reiterating what you've already read in first and second Samuel and first and second Kings. Now you just got to reread all those stories, but each story is going to get summed up in one paragraph. And then it's going to tell you every single name of every single person that was involved in the story, and their brother and their sons and their fathers and where they're from. And it can't be more boring than instructions for building a tabernacle. At least you get a physical picture in your head with the instructions of the tabernacle and what the priests will wear and how they do all the sacrifices. At least you can like build an image in your head and you can like think about it. I think this is worse. I think I would rather read about the schematics for the tabernacle rather than read 10 chapters of begats in a row. It's rough. It's rough because I can't even say any of these names, and I'm trying to like picture a family tree in my head, and it's impossible. Like, and then let's say so and so is the son of so and so, but then in the next thing it'll say so and so is the son of so and so, but it's the same name. So I'm like, wait, some of these people have the same name, so I don't even know which ones they're talking about. Sometimes it's crazy. It's Chronicles is rough so far, but I'll see you guys later. I gotta get to bed. God bless everybody. Come by the stream tonight. We'll be playing some Wukong for a little bit. God bless. We out.